Yo, what up? This your boy EC22 of the FairWeather Fan Channel, man. We're in for another live podcast, man. Before I go any further, please like, subscribe, share, leave comments, join the conversation. And once again, man, I greatly appreciate those of you who tune in either live or you catch it later on in your feed, man. I appreciate your support for this podcast, man. And let's keep it rolling. Today, let's go ahead and talk about this Terrence Crawford and Israel Madrimov. I don't know how to say his name. Madrimov fight. If you don't already know, Terrence Bud Crawford still undefeated. He did his thing. But there has been a little bit of mixed emotions about this fight, as some suggested that it shouldn't have been it should have been a little close on the scorecard. You know, he got a unanimous decision, and some suggested should have been closer. And some even suggested that he actually lost that fight. Hey, teach his own if you watch the fight. Now, I will say this. Watching the fight, I personally believe that Israel got off a little bit more punches, clean punches. But I think when you get to a big fight like Terrence Crawford, who just recently got to this status after beating Errol Spence, I think you got to do more than just throw punches. I think you got to really, really, really dive in and make it completely a lopsided fight and beat the boy down in impopular fashion. The same way that Terrence Crawford beat up Errol Spence. It was clear. But it was a good fight, but this is what happens when you're the champion. When you're the champion, you're going to get the extra edge because you are who you are. And whatever this come out of for Israel, I hope he learned his lesson and don't use this as a major stumbling block in his career. I think he should go further in his boxing career. But once again, what's next for Terrence Bud Crawford? We don't know. But let me know what you think in the comments, man. If you think he won the fight or you lost the fight, or you like me, I'm completely on the fences. Listen. Charles Barkley, a few months ago, at the end of the NBA season, decided that after this up and coming year, he was going to step away from being an analyst on TNT and just go and enjoy his retirement. And as you've been seeing, that TNT has been trying their best to go out there and save, particularly in my opinion, inside the NBA by staying on with keeping Warner Brothers contract up with the NBA. NBA turned down Warner's offer, and so that's what happens with the NBA. But Warner Brothers has started to sue, or decided to sue the NBA to say, why did you not take an offer? But anyway, with all that energy surrounding what Warner Brothers and TNT is trying to do for those group of guys, Charles Barkley said, you know what, he had decided to go ahead and finish out his contract. I don't even know how long his contract is for, but he decided to stay around to finish out his contract and to do what he needs to do to keep that team alive. So Ernie and Charles in, we still don't know what's going on with Shaq and Kenny. So the future of the inside NBA with that group of guys is still kind of out there. We don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully that, and I'm praying and I'm hoping, because I love NBA being on TNT, and I'm hoping that Warner win this contract dispute with the NBA. And I don't know why the NBA decide to do this. I don't even know why. It makes absolutely no sense. If it's working, it's working. But anyway, let's move on to the Olympic sports. Y'all, listen, we had a little bit of controversy over the weekend, actually starting last week. When it comes down to women's boxing in the Olympics. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Amani Khelif, Amani Khelif, I think that's how you say her name. She's from Algeria, and just been a whole lot of nasty, controversial. When I first got the news, I was under the impression, just like most of you, that she was a transgender person. Basically, she was born a male, transitioned into a female, and decided to compete in female sports. Now, that's the way the information came to me. And I remember, I think it was the last Olympics this happened, a trans tried to do that, and the Olympic Committee said no. And I remember watching Bruce Jenner, formerly known as Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner, on the pivot talking about the very same thing. And even he suggested, being a transgender woman, saying that, listen, even he, being a former athlete, now transitions to a woman, knows that it's completely unfair for a man to compete as a woman, a transgender, because even though you're transitioning to a woman, the body chemistry is still just that. It's still superior to a woman. And so when I saw this thing came out about Iman, I was like, I don't know if the Olympic Committee would actually allow that to happen, to allow this trans to compete, because they killed it the last Olympics. But nevertheless, just like everybody else, I roll with the media. Thank God I didn't post nothing about it. Came out that this young lady, Iman Caliph, was actually born a female. And just so happens, and not only her, we also talking about Lin Yang Ting of Taiwan, was also under the same scrutiny, being born a female. But they being born female, but under the I think it's IOB, IBO, whatever it is, they declared that they failed a gender neutral test. Whatever that means, I don't know. I don't know. But what's come out, because it's very sketchy conversation, what's come out is that obviously these two females have an XY chromosome, which gives them some testosterone, whatever, which is not necessarily uncommon, but it's uncommon to sports. And so they got banned from the World Games, where that was, for World Cup, whatever, but the Olympic Committee allowed them to compete. And so thus it's controversial. All happened with a fight. I forget the young lady that Iman was fighting, hit her one time, 40 seconds to fight. Old girl said, oh God, she went down, can't take it. And then she told the media that she never got hit that hard before. Now, this is a very sensitive subject to the community. First of all, there's no reports that either one of these women has came out to say that they are actually part of the LGBT community. Nor any reports came out and suggested that they're trans or even intersex. And the whole intersex conversation, man, that is a very deep conversation, because it goes any type of ways. I did watch this one study where this young lady, she said that she was intersex. And when she did, as the doctors did all the tests, they realized that she was a twin, and there was two eggs that formed into one and basically joined in one. And so basically that's how she ended up with both female and male parts. But I think the female trait was more dominant than male. She had male organs, but they weren't operational, but all her female parts was. But at the same time, she experienced two different puberties, whatever that was. But there's a lot of different things about intersex that's going out there. That's been going on for a while. It's just they don't really talk about it as much. But neither one of these women, whether it was Iman or Lin Yang Ting, neither one of them has declared to be intersex. The blood works just suggested that they have X and Y chromosome, and that's it. What John say? He said, but the high testosterone athlete got smoked. What he say? Got smoked her next bout. He said, but the high testosterone athlete got smoked her next. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And that's what, and that leads me to the point that G was talking about. Neither one of these women have a perfect career. You know, Iman has lost 5. She's 9-5 in her career, and she only competed as a woman. So when old girl decided she got hit too hard, that means the girl was just a better fighter. That's like me getting in the ring with, you know what I'm saying, with Tyson Fury. Obviously it's gonna hurt. You know what I'm saying? So, but what I think it was the optical illusion of looking at this woman, seeing how kind of masculine she was, or more masculine than the woman she was fighting. And I think fear came across. And so when she got hit, her mind like, no, this got to be a man. Oh, ain't no chick gonna hit me like this. Welcome to the world. Welcome to the Olympic sports, young lady. And I'm not taking up for mine or even Lin Yu, but I'm just saying that the narrative that got spun, which was unjustly done for these women, was so unfair. They threw out there that they were trans, and the whole world ate it up. And it's not just that it's the people who got it out there. We're talking about people like J.K. Rowling, you know who she is, Elon Musk, Donald Trump coming, and then the initiators and the instigators, the whole thing was the Paul brothers, Jake and Logan. And so this is the ideal of fake news getting out there. And so to those two women, if you're listening to this podcast, and other women that are dealing with extra chromosomes or XY chromosome, whatever, or even to the intersex community, I offered up apologized, and I think it's befitting for all of us who in some form of media, whether we have a big podcast, big platform, or small platform, to go out there and let it know. Since it was done on social media, let us come back on social media and say, you know what? We offer you guys apology for the whole community and there needs to be more conversations about this situation, especially when it relates to sports. So I'm just throwing it out there. Let's see what G has to say. G says in the Olympics going to be exactly. Yeah, exactly. So you're gonna meet extreme high levels of competition, but I think the Olympic Committee has done what they're supposed to do to protect women's sports. Um, but that's just what that is. But I just, like I said, offer apology to Aman, Caliph, and Leung Yu 10 of Taiwan. So enough of that. Hey, right now, the current medal count for the U.S. for the Olympics, U.S. is winning right now. 24 golds, 31 silvers, and 31 bronze, a total of 86 medals. Congratulations to the U.S. for doing what we always do. But most notable, man, that I like for over the weekend, we seen what Simone Biles did last week, saying winning 3 goals. And this year, when they came down to some individual sports, I think it was the vault, her and Chiles got second place. And so they decided during the podium ceremony, they bowed down to her. And y'all, once Simone got her 3rd medal, at that point I was like, child, you don't need to do nothing else. Did I just say child on this? I'm so sorry. Sorry, y'all. No, I'm like, she didn't really have to do anything else. Go out and compete at your highest level. But listen, you fell off the beam. Don't even worry about it. So it was the balancing beam. If you fell off the beam, don't worry about it. Get back up. You've done what you can do in these Olympics. So, and I love that how they basically, for all intents and purposes, did they actually just say, you know what? We're passing the baton to you. So I love that what they did to the Brazilian. What was her name? I gotta pull it up. I think her name was Andrea, or Andre was her name. It was Rebeca Andrade. I think it was of Brazil. So they bowed down to her. So I just really appreciate those 2 young ladies for showing class at the Olympics, stuff like that. Scotty Scheffler, Dallas-born guy here in the Metroplex, the #1 golfer in the world, has now solidified that status by winning gold in in golf, the Olympic golf. So congratulations to Scotty Scheffler. He got emotional. I mean, I love to see that, what I'm saying, when guys really, really represent their country and they really, really just respect all of the athletes, stuff like that. But Scotty, obviously in golf, competes with these world athletes all the time, and he's been leading. So I'm not saying it was an easy win, but he did what he's supposed to do. And same way with Novak Djokovic. Novak Djokovic of Serbia winning gold in men's tennis. And y'all, he has been #1 in tennis for a very, very, very long time. And this was the last award that he needed to add to his resume after being on top for a very, very long time. He is yet to win a gold until now. He's finally a gold medal winner, and he has finally completed what they call the golden slam in tennis. You hear the grand slams, right? When you win the Australian, the US Open, the Wimbledon, as well as the French Open. When you win those, that's a grand slam because those are the majors. But when you win a gold in the Olympics, that is considered the golden slam. And he joined a very small elite group of tennis players to do so. I mean, you're looking at like Staffy got 5-1 in 88. Andre Agassi did this in 99. Rafael Nadal did this in 2010. Our own Serena Williams did it in 2012. And now it is 12 years later, we add Novak Djokovic to the list of winning the Golden Slam. And he was emotional on the court crying, with his family crying. I love tennis, so I know who the guy is, man. Awesome guy, awesome personality, man. Like I said, he's been leading tennis for a long, long time. So salute to you, sir, for finally completing what you need to complete to get the Golden Slam, man. Thank you, Novak Djokovic, for winning that. I got to talk about it. Here we go. The men's 100 meters. What are y'all thoughts about that situation? I'm going to tell you like an old school cat told me, and I keep hearing this. If you know the rules, you'll know how to play. Congratulations to Noah Lyles, man, for doing what he said he was going to do, shock the world, win the gold medal, and he did it, but it was in photo finish fashion. Oh, my God. He had to come back from behind to win, and Jamaica is still salty because they thought Thompson should have won. They are still trolling on social media, man, to my shouts out. What up, Big D? They're salty. They're salty. But Noah Lyles did his thing, man. And and for those who do not remember, this is the same Noah Lyles who mocked the NBA and all their other in all the other sports in the U.S. that consider themselves world champions. He came out and said, "World champions is what? We as Olympians, we compete on the world stage. So you guys can't call yourself world champion because that's a national championship." And it went kind of viral or whatever. And a lot of people had a lot to say and stuff like that. And he's a younger man, so there's no need to explain why we call ourselves world champions in some sports, because as you can see in the Olympics right now, this is the reason why we call ourselves world champions. The men's basketball team is clearly going to win gold. No other sports really play baseball the way we do. So obviously, the World Series, even though it's not. So we can go back and forth. What my brother say? Yeah, they hurt. Yeah, Jamaica's still hurt right now. Y'all, for U.S. people, stay away from Jamaica for a minute. It may not go well for you. No, just playing. But no, like I said, congratulations to Noah Lyles, man, for winning 100 meters, man. He's a trash talker, and a little bit more than that. I'm not going to get into that, but he's a little bit more extra than trash talker. I got a question. More of a statement, really. More of a statement, not a question. Could be a question. It depends on how you view this comment or what I'm about to say. USA women's basketball team has the lowest attendance when it comes down to basketball, male or female. Basically what that means, when the U.S. women get ready to play their game, they don't have a lot of people watching. Nobody's in the stands. And there's been, and I heard this one comment on social media, and they said, these women want more money, but they're supposed to be the best players in the world, and nobody still wants to watch them. I'm like, that didn't make any sense, because you're talking about the best women, the best female basketball players in the world. Can't get nobody to come into the stadium and watch them perform. But you get other teams that are completely not as clear as best. I watched Puerto Rico and Spain go hard. I mean, they went straight hard. The game came down to the ref calling a foul with a minute 0.6 left on the clock. 1.6 seconds left on the clock, and you don't do that in sports. You do not call a foul at that point of the game. But it did, and that's what gave Puerto Rico the exit from they lost that round. They had no chance to get into the playoff or the tournament bracket play, whatever. But man, that game, and they had a lot of people. I watched China and Spain go out there and have a lot of people in the audience, but they're representing their country. Stephen A. Smith goes on and say this right here. He said he suggests that even though he agreed with Caitlin Clark, and here I go talking about Caitlin Clark again, even though he agreed that Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese should not have made the squad, because obviously they're young and being able to play on that stage, they wanted the experience to go at the highest level. They didn't deserve to make the team because of that. He felt like marketing-wise, they should have made the team to get people to watch them. And I'm gonna say this right here. I don't think that's an accurate statement. The reason why that the women don't have a lot of people watching the game, because everybody already know what the outcome is going to be. It's going to be a beatdown. I mean, you got your ticket to go to the Olympics, which you're going to have a lot more people from other countries. They're going to go see their team. But if you're a fan, let's say, of Japan, and you're there, and you know I'm going to go support my Japanese team, but you know they're going to lose this game, you're not going to show up. Let's see what Big D guys say. They say they used to look like boys. They want women to look like women. When you now see WNBA players and women starting to wear nails, lashes, looking appearing, the viewership is going. Yeah. Yeah, he said that basically women used to look like boys and stuff like that, but now they're looking more like women. You see how Angel Reese and stuff like that. We talk about this on later podcasts, on the earlier podcast, where obviously Lisa Leslie being a model, Swim Cash was a model. You see everybody when Tia Cooper went viral back in the day, you know what I'm saying? And now you see Angel Reese do her thing and stuff like that. And we see Kelsey Plum and just to name other Asia Wilson. We just to name a few, how these women are really tapping into the femininity and stuff like that. But you still have some of your representative of LBGT community out there, like Brittany Griner, who's married to a female, Diana Taurasi, who's married to a female, Breonna Stewart, who's married to a female, and the list goes on and on and on and on. So enough of that. But I think the real reason is simply because of this. Over here in the US of A, we have to support women's sports just because. This conversation has been going on in my podcast community, and it's always been a lot of back and forth about the reality of it. And the reality of it is this. In the US of A, and I'm going to say a bold statement over here, and hold on, we just don't support women. And see what G have to say real quick. He said, not hating on women basketball, but a lot of people simply don't want to see women do what men are doing. Some reason women football is No, listen, and that's what G, and thank you, G, for being honest, because this is what I've been trying to get people to express and tell the truth on for a moment. I had a conversation with one of my buddies last weekend, and it was simple. I said, are people not watching? Because number one, you have two things at play. When you're a fan of a sport, you want to see that sport being played at the highest level. So like me, you know what I'm saying? It took me a long, long time to watch college athletes, you know what I'm saying, basketball or football, because when I watch sports, I want to see it being played at the highest level, not a mid-level, right? So that's the reason why it took me a long time to get into college. So I can appreciate that when it comes down to basketball. If you want to see basketball played at the highest level, I totally understand that perspective. But how much of it is it that, or how much of it is that people just don't want to see women play basketball? Or just don't want to see women, period, play any sports. And the reason why I say that, I know that to be a reality, because look at me. I refuse to watch male volleyball. I will not watch men play volleyball because I think that that is a woman's sport, and I don't want to see it. And it's crazy because one of my favorite movies is Side Out, which was a volleyball movie, a beach volleyball movie, but I'm sorry. As much as I like that movie, it was a movie. But in professional, real play, I'm not watching men play volleyball. I ain't doing it. I'm sorry. And I just want people to be honest about the observation, because people are now trying to spin this narrative that, oh, the women not exciting to watch or that. No. If you actually decide to turn on a women's game, you will see what excitement really is. Because if you guys going to drop in and just roll off the Caitlin Clark train and saying she's the best women in basketball, you haven't been watching basketball. You haven't been watching it. So don't go out there and roll with mainstream media because that's what they're pushing. Just simply say, hey, we don't want to watch it. And I can agree with that. I can totally agree with that. You're not going to get an argument from me on that. You know what I'm saying? But, and I will say this, and I'm going to jump off this, and I didn't mean to go this route, but I'm going to go there. Some have suggested that the LBGT community need to be the front runners of the viewership and the support for the WNBA. And I could not disagree with that statement more. Why? Because they already are. I'm not going to say that every person in the LBGT community supports, but when it comes down to those events, their fan base, they're, and this is what people don't realize. And you got to do your work. The grassroots effort for women's basketball is phenomenal. It's best you ever seen, right? The support that they get from their true fans is over 100% greater than any other fan base, which means when you look at all the fan bases in the world and their true fans and how much they get for their fans, the women fan base are over 100%. And what that means is this, and I know I'm saying a lot, and I said this before. If a vendor goes to a WNBA game and wants to sell something, the fans are 110% more likely to buy from that vendor just because they showed up to the event than any other sports out there. Just real. If I were to go sell some stuff at an NFL game, not too many people gonna come. But if I would go set up shop at a WNBA game, it may not be as many people there, but majority of the people will come out and show their support. Uh, what do you say? Men support men's sport because they understand what they're seeing and watch. And with women knows the sports like men and the viewership go up, not a lot of women care and know sports like that's growing, but it's still ways to go. Johnny C said the first. And so basically what Derek said, yeah, and what Big D, there is right. There are a lot of women out there who don't really, let me make sure I'm saying this right. He said that men support men's sport because they understand what they're seeing and watch. If women, okay, he said basically he said that men watch sport because they know what they're watching, and women. So now here's the narrative on that, Big D. The viewership of the female viewership for male sports is on the climb. And it's been on the climb for a long, long time. You see more analysts, you see more people in the locker room, the interviews, sideline commentators, you got referees in the game, you even got female coaches in basketball, assistant coaches in basketball. And it won't be long before we see our first female coach on the NFL sideline. So the understanding and the knowledge of the game is there for women when they watch women's sports, but it's not the same way with women. You don't see too many men supporting it from afar. The men that support it are usually their close personal, as coaches, as referees, as analysts, as commentators. You know what I'm saying? They may got family member that goes out there. What I'm speaking of, not the general public mainly, but the mainstream media guys. They don't cover it. You can't get this stuff on national network. And G said that what first the WNBA needs to better marketing campaign. This has been the biggest misunderstanding about the WNBA since it started. Let me tell you why. Because what people fail to realize is that the NBA created the WNBA. What's better who was responsible for the market? The NBA looked around the world and said, man, there are men and women's basketball organizations around the world, and we don't have a women's organization. So we cannot be, what up, Daniel, man? If the men don't watch, it don't make it. NBA needs everyone just like other professional sports. But like I say, the WNBA was created by the NBA. So it's the NBA's responsibility to take all this billions of dollars they have and market the product that they put out. In 1996, I think it was until 2002, the WNBA was solely owned and operated by the NBA. Completely. What up, Lou? Completely owned and operated by the NBA. In 2002, the NBA decided, you know what? Let's go ahead and take these women and sell these teams to other cities that don't have a professional team so they can try to corner that market to make money. And so at that point, that's when you start getting individual owners to come in and start buying these franchises. And it didn't work because I can see if you have 1,000 heirs owning these WNBA teams. I can see if you have millionaires owning these WNBA teams. No, these WNBA teams are still owned by billionaires, which means that with the support of the NBA, which is a $1 billion franchise, as long as with their own particular owners, they can pay these women more money. And people say, oh, well, you're going to be in a deficit. Of course you are. What they say, it takes money to make money. So the real issue is, why aren't the owners doing more for the WNBA, and why is the NBA ain't doing more for the WNBA? I don't know. That's the problem. And it goes to show you that even on the world stage, the US of A, the people, us, the fan base, we'll fly all the way to Paris or wherever the Olympics are, knowing that those women are playing in those arenas, and we won't go watch. And we know this team is going to get gold. If any team that's not going to let you down, it's going to be the WNBA players. They're not going to let you down. So if you want to go see somebody win gold, you go to Paris or wherever sport arena and watch them win, guaranteed. The men, we still kind of up and out if they're going to win or not. We want them to lose. You know what I'm saying? The last comment my brother says that it's growing now. It's on network TV. Now in the 5 years that we finally have a minimum $1 million players. They just signed a deal with networks. And they did that because they did it. And here's a slap in the face. They did it because of the Caitlin Clark effect, who went viral on social media when she was with Iowa. It's not fair. I'm just saying it's not fair. I don't think it's fair. What do you say? G said maybe NBA. one of my co-hosts, and then we got to put an APB out on Maximum Biles. Max, where you at? I got to get this guy back. But he made this comment. I thought it was pretty cool. He said, "Why not put the NBA games after WNBA games in that arena? So, like, if the Mavs play, let's say at 7, put the Wings on at 4, and it's a one ticket for both." And we see that like in high school and college when they're doing like a tournament play, one ticket to get your all session. You jack up the price a little bit higher to accommodate both. You know what I'm saying? But there you got viewership. And I think that's a great idea if they want to do something like that. Yeah, Angel Reason. Yeah, exactly. He said, but the stands. He said the stands. You know what? It's not about the stands. If they do this whole where they because you buy one ticket, at least the money is there. But of course that's not going to happen because what that's going to take is they're going to take NBA teams actually adopting or these owners merging with their male counterparts organization. And billionaires don't like sharing their money because they stingy like that. And this is reports that came out because that was actually what the NBA suggested. Hey guys, let's go back to our back when we was from 96 to 2002. Instead of us owning the league, won't you guys go back and every team out there partner up with your male counterpart team? The only two teams, I think it's Las Vegas Aces don't have a pro team, the Connecticut Suns don't have a pro team, and the Seattle Storms don't have a pro team, right? But all them other cities, the other 9 WNBA teams all in the same city, but they're not operated by those NBA teams. Newsflash, you know that. Yeah. So yeah, Mark Cuban has been trying to bring in some type of attention and support for the Dallas Wings, but other cities are not necessarily doing so. So that's just a whole situation right there. But that has been the thing that's going around. Why the attendance has been low for the women in USA basketball? Because number one, at the end of the day, people just don't want to go see women play in the U.S. because other countries are showing up for their team. And obviously, they know it's going to be a beatdown. Listen, let's get into this real quick before we get out here. Before we go, man, y'all, those who are watching right now, please join us at the top of the hour. We're on Faith Sports Talk Radio. I always get tongue-tied when I say that. Faith Sports Talk Radio. Join us at the top of the hour. We're going to dive into the college 12-team playoff system, man. That's gonna be fun to get into. So join us over there. And I will I will share the live feed to mine if you're already watching. Derek said, I know black people. No, the black girl started it, but it was just like Jordan taking the NBA new heights of people. And Derek holds a good point because that is true. People are mad at Caitlin. I'm not mad at Caitlin Clark because I understand the way business works, right? What I am mad for, when Jordan came into the league, obviously the outcry for Jordan's skill set was there. But people was watching the NBA and they gave Jordan his props to be the greatest player that we've seen in our generation, arguably. But there was no disrespect to the guys that came before. Like Bill Russell got his just due. Dr. J got his just due. And I can go on and on with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. I can go on and on. James Worthy, Moses Malone, Iceman. I can go on. They all got their just due, and everybody considered them great. The problem I have with the WNBA, because people who are throwing out Caitlin Clark's name don't even know who Angel McCartney is. They don't even know who Simone Augustus is. They don't even know who my girl, Maya Moore. And what's my girl for Indiana Fever that was over there? I can't think of her name right now. Tamika Catchings. They don't even know who she is. These are the GOATs. They obviously didn't know Diana Taurasi because she's been doing this thing for a long, long time. They know Lisa Leslie. We know Cheryl Swoops. Some people don't even know Cynthia Cooper. But you know what I'm saying? And we know Candace Parker and BG, Brittany Griner. But most people don't know who the real GOATs of the league are. Obviously, Diana Taurasi sits at the top, but in my opinion, right up under Diana Taurasi, and I said it before, is my girl Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie. Then you got through Maya Moore, Tamika Catchings. That's the problem I have because they do not know. Everybody, even back in the 90s, we knew exactly who Dr. J was. I was watching the Fish Pittsburgh before I was a Jordan fan because my daddy was going out there. And all that daddy was out there in the backyard trying to throw scout hooks, and you know it. He said, it's the 3 ball. And that's another thing. And I'm going to say this, and I'm got to move on. Everybody keep talking about how good of a shooter that Caitlin Clark is, and we forgot to realize once again that Sabrina Ionescu was the young lady who was going head-to-head with Steph Curry. You can't come into the league and all of a sudden start talking about, oh, because Caitlin Clark can shoot threes. We watched her in the WNBA All-Star game, and she gave up 4 points. Got 4 points in the All-Star game. Everybody watched. It was the highest viewership of a WNBA All-Star game, and everybody watched that girl play, only get 4 points. But nobody's talking about Arika Gumawale from the Dallas Wings who scored, 30 points in the second half alone. I kept telling people, you see Arika, there's more to it than that. Keep watching her. Asia Wilson is hand downs right now the WNBA MVP. I digress. Hey, Draymond Green is still trolling Steve Kerr about his decision to sit Jason Tatum. Now that was 2 games, Max. That was the first game of the Olympics, and Draymond Green is still blasting his coach. Y'all, Draymond Green gonna get a whooping when Daddy come home. Nah, I'm sorry, Steve Kerr is not his daddy, but man, like Draymond, like bro, that's your coach. But he is like he said even Steve Kerr's excuse for not letting JT play, he said he didn't buy it. And he, of course, been screaming the same sentiments I've been screaming. No, this guy just won the national championship. How in the world are you going to not let him play the first game? And this just came out yesterday. Draymond is still trolling his coach. But today, the men's actually played. They played against the Brazilian team, whatever, in elimination play. In the quarterfinals, going to the semifinals to play Serbia, but got everybody to play, everybody scored, and I don't know why they couldn't do this up front. So I don't know. I still think Steve Kerr was coaching scared, in my opinion. But anyway, listen, Kevin Durant got there and played, and he scored. Y'all, US, they be tripping me. The US be tripping out on these stats they be coming up with. They're in the Olympics. You guys are the best players in the world. We get it. But you throw out this stat. Oh, KD had just broke the all-time U.S. Olympic scoring record, passing Lisa Leslie. And there's a standing ovation moment. Okay. As far as what the U.S. was able to do in the Olympics, okay, we thank you, KD. Much props for winning or passing Lisa Leslie in the most points scored collectively in the Olympics. Okay, you're winning the U.S. record. But y'all, that record is winning. Let's start with the women. Lisa Leslie is third on the list for the women. Just for the women, not men and women, but third on the list for the women. One, Lauren Jackson from Australia is number 1 on the list. If y'all don't know Lauren Jackson, she's the big Brazilian girl. She played with Seattle Storm for several years in the WNBA, but she always represented her home country of Australia when it comes to the Olympics. So even by that standard, Lisa Leslie is third on the list, and Lauren Jackson is top on the list. When it comes down to the men's, Durant, I think, is number 8 on the list. He probably get up to number 7 before the Olympics over with because Patty Mills is still playing. But Patty Mills, I think, is like 6 on the list, whatever. He just passed Manu Ginobili. So Manu Ginobili, I think, is like 6th or 5th on the list, whatever he was. But Manu Ginobili played 16 years for the Spurs, but he always played for Argentina. Same way with Luis Scola, played for Argentina. He played 5 years for the Rockets along with Tracy McGrady. Patty Mills, long times, he played 9 years with Spurs. He's currently playing for the Miami Heat right now. So he's above Kevin Durant on the list. But and then Paul Gasol, 6 years with the Lakers that we know him of, 7 years with the Grizzlies prior to that, 18 years overall in the league. He's on that list. But like I say, those guys, he always played for Spain when it came down to Olympics. And then the greatest basketball player on the planet up until last year was Oscar Schmitz. Scored over 49,000 career points. LeBron James obviously passed him as far as basketball history is concerned. If you know who Oscar Schmitz is, he's a Brazilian player, Italian league guy. Kobe Bryant was his hero. He was Kobe Bryant's hero, and Kobe Bryant's always stated that he was a kid coming up. Well, we know who he really watched was Jordan, but living in Italy, watching your dad play, this was the guy who kept beating his daddy. So he became a fan of Oscar Smith and had some chance to talk to him one-on-one and learned a lot of game and talked a lot of game with Oscar Smith. So he is the guy who holds it on. So we get this record for KD, and I'm not saying it's not something to be talked about, but y'all, it's a U.S. stat. It's a U.S. stat. And there's still a long way to go because Oscar Smith got over 1,000 points scored in the Olympics. And KD, I think KD just got 494. Patty Mills, I think, is like at 560 or something, like 560, 540, something like that. So, and they're saying that this record is, if this is KD's last Olympic, there's going to be a long, long time for a U.S. person to get up to this many points. So I digress on that. But anyway, congratulations to him anyway. Y'all, that's all I have for the FairWeather Fan Podcast, man. Once again, like I said, man, join us over on Faith Sports Talk Radio here in about 1 minute and a couple of seconds, whatever. Join us, Lewis the Professor, myself, the FairWeather Fan, Coach Mateus Turner, and Officer Tawakin and Claiborne. Join us over there, man, and we are out, man. Thank you guys for watching.